People deluded, I'm back again. Happy Sunday, folks, man. How you lot doing? Smash the like button, all that good stuff. One love if you're on Twitch. Now, apparently, Gabriel Martinelli is wanted by Bayern Munich. Thomas Partey is 90% likely to leave Arsenal. There's still rumblings where the Gyokeres and all them guys in this world are still concerned. Yeah, man, at least we can somewhat tick Zubimendi off the list. Apparently, he's going to wear, I think, the number 36. So, yeah, man, big up everyone tuned in. Smash the like button. We're going to get onto stuff in just a sec. Lucian Kid, one love, my guy. Big up yourself, man. Getting linked to ballers again. It was looking dark when all we were seeing was Madueke and Nordgaard. To be fair, I hear you, and it's silly season, and the journalists have to do whatever is required for them to, you know, get engagement and do whatever. But so I'd expect to see a range of links and different links and all of these kind of things. But I'm past the stage of links. I need to see people through the door. Zubimendi step in the right direction. We're led to believe Kepa's going to get signed off. Whether it's Sesko and or Gyokeres, either one, get them in. And I think everybody knows we need a left winger and everything else, man. And ideally, we do our business before preseason, like all the players come in, and that gives us just over a month to focus on outgoings, whoever is going to leave. People, big up yourself, Nathan. As my man has said here, hope you enjoyed your weekend. I did enjoy mine. I hope you lot did as well. Smash the like button, man. I'm good, Killy. I hope you're doing better, man. So yeah, smash the likes, do all of that. Zed, I always see you in the comment section pushing the algorithm and saying hit the like button. Temina, forgive me for mispronunciation. Gyokeres joining Arsenal. I hope so. I'm cool with Sesko or Gyokeres. I think they both got pros. I think they both got cons. I would prefer Gyokeres purely, nothing necessarily to do against Sesko. I say this all the time. It would just be different to what we do. We just normally go and get the young players and whatnot. Gyokeres would tell me whether we win or not, because he's 27, because he's, I'd imagine, significantly more developed in what a striker's meant to be. Then, well, I guess he's fulfilled more of his potential than Sesko, isn't it, really? So it'd be a bit different. That would tell me we're serious about finally getting over the line. You know, I actually think Sesko could help us immediately and be quite good, but naturally the man's developing, and it's still kind of always focusing on tomorrow. I don't want to waffle about the past. I hope the future is bright, but the only way to right any wrongs of the past and positively put the best steps in practice to having a great future is to fully immerse yourself in the present. And I just feel when it's all said and done in these last 3 years, whether it's the 2022-23 season, we weren't expected to do that. The year after that, where we obviously fell short on the last day of the season, but we showed we're here to stay. And last year, in which I won't say it's a false image because we earned the right to finish second in it. Like, you're where you're at over a 38 game accordingly. But let's be real, man. That was probably the worst of our attempted title campaigns for all the positive statistics you can throw at me. So my thing is that when it's all said and done, it's 3 different years. We've not seized any of those moments and, you know, created history or ended our Premier League trophy jar. It's as simple as that, man. So, yeah, man. Big up yourself, Fire, man. Viggs, what have you said? Now, after Messi single-handedly beat Porto, that league ain't it. Washed, them goals ain't it. I'd rather get Sesko, apply Liga Nos tax. It's true, and there obviously is that. As I said, I don't think the exchange rate with Gyokeres he's not going to get those abnormal amount of goals, but I still think he could bag. I do think there's cons to him in the sense that obviously we all know, I don't want to keep saying the age thing because he's 27. Like, even if he signed for Arsenal today at 27 plus 5, you're looking at 32, 33. My maths is a bit off, innit? But he could still achieve stuff within that 5-year period. But you do have to wonder in this day and age where the striker market isn't really flushed with talents, like who are the strikers they're all good players, but who are the strikers that are typically linked with moves away at this moment in time, whether they've left or not? Sesko, Gyokeres, Hugo Ekitike, all of these kind of things, they're coming with big premiums. The striker market is dead. So if you've got someone whose goals are too abnormal to really and truly ignore, and he's 27 prime ages, and what you hear, you do see rumblings, apparently the footballing world reckon he's overpriced. Is there something in there? Now, obviously with Gyokeres, the Portuguese league is something they'll point to the track record of people who have bagged goals for fun in the Portuguese league and then obviously not done it. So there's a lot, but I reckon he's at that stage. It's a bit like Lookman, who I think is the same age. You've both left England and built your name elsewhere. You've had positive moments in your careers, negative moments, and done what needed to be done. I do like Gyokeres. I think everyone's got cons. I think obviously the goals. I know people could talk about the standard of the league, the defensive tax. Some would even point to his lack of headers. But I think he's got enough in terms of his general play, so how he affects games without necessarily scoring. I think he's intelligent. I think he works the channels well. I think his link-up play is good. Obviously, he's a brute and he's a physical kind of man. It's not the best of examples, with the greatest of respect to Chris Wood, because we all know he's a prolific striker, he's doing his thing. But many people look at that and say it's not sexy. So I think there is cons. I feel sorry for Gyokeres and Sesko to a degree in that, obviously, you're going to a big club and there's pressure for footballers anyways, but people are just going to look at them people are just going to expect fireworks from day dot, because we're frustrated with not getting over the line, because we've known we've needed to address the striker market for a hot minute, man. So it's interesting. DG, we are ready to hear same links and rumours. Rodrigo, Sesko, Gyokeres, and that Sevilla player, Gourmet. Nelly is our guy, but if Bayern pays 60 to 70, we can let him go. I hear that, but my fear is we should be, I'm not saying that you can't sell Martinelli. I wouldn't, but admittedly 60, 70 million, I think we're reaching with that kind of fee. But if we're able to do that, fair play in it, really and truly. But for me, we got to build on the depth. Like, I wouldn't feel comfortable selling Martinelli until whoever this left winger is, or wide man, until they're in the club. I think he's one that you need to do your business first and then concede that. And for me, it's about having the squad. I understand if you're offered 60, 70 million for Martinelli, that's a sizable profit that could be reinvested. Trossard, there's rumours of him departing and things of that ilk. I could understand if, the Trossards, the Martinellis, Kiviors in that, people could sell them, but they're probably not the ones that need to go through the door. If there's offers, then I understand it. But we need depth. Like, for me, if you bring in a striker, you bring in a left winger, the Martinelli, the Trossards, the Kai Havertzes, I know people don't want to hear that, the Marinos, all these guys are squad players. And I don't know if the left winger, I don't know who it would be. We'd love Rodrigo and all those players. I don't know if it would be a young emerging talent. And I don't want to put my neck on the line. I don't know what Arsenal are doing, but we've known, like with the striker thing we was talking about, we've known we've needed to address that. So I'm quote unquote as confident as someone that isn't in the know and essentially an armchair expert. Yeah, I'm confident we bring in a left winger. I'm confident a striker arrives. I'm a bit nervous. We have spoken about it on this channel. I'm a bit nervous with centre midfield, man. I am, admittedly, people. I don't think we've got the numbers. I know we can say, Wanyeri's future could be in the middle. You've got a 15, 16-year-old Max Dalman who we've got to take time with it, but will, within the next 2 years or something, grow in stature. You do have the option of a Miles Lewis-Skelly. You do have Kai Havertz and Marino and maybe even Odegaard going into the 8 role. You've got all of those kind of options, but I like Zubamendi. I think Zubamendi would be a good signing for us, but I'm just wary that if you let Partey go, all your eggs are kind of in the Zubamendi basket. He's developing. God forbid nothing happens to Rice. I must admit, I wouldn't be against another 6 and an 8. I would understand that if they were going to sign like a player that's more physically, I like to Partey and bring that in. But for me, and I know Rice can play 8 or 6, and I don't really care where Rice plays. If you play as an 8, you still have to do 6 stuff. If you play as a 6, you still have to contribute, in the attacking phase. But surely we go for an 8, like if we bring in another midfielder, maybe someone that can play both. I just say Douglas Luiz because we've been linked with him and he can play that. I'm not saying he's the answer, but surely it's more shifted. The conversation can shift towards an 8. Like, obviously, Ryan just plays for AC Milan, but in terms of the skill set and how that kind of midfielder plays, surely there's scope for that. And I know it's not easy to find, but a Santi Cazorla or something like that, surely. I'm not confident in our midfield options. I'm not, man. I'm not. I think we're a man short, and I could argue the club knew that, because in an ideal world, and there's a lot of transition as well. You've Jorginho and Partey leaving. In an ideal world, they want to keep Thomas Partey, right? And they bring in Zubamendi, dash your midfield sorted. And every now and again, we're linked with a Napan and, maybe someone that can play in the 10. But they probably reckon we've got one player less. I hear you, Yoni, man. No way we say. Yeah. No way we don't bring in another midfielder, or at the very least, Hato, so Miles Lewis-Skelly can move into midfield permanently. I wouldn't even say permanently, because we're just assuming that it's a one injury thing. I'm not saying you're wrong, but what if there's any injuries in midfield? Miles Lewis-Skelly is an option to go into midfield, as we know, but then, both our left backs, or excluding Lewis-Skelly, they're both injured. So obviously he's going to have to move over there. If we've learned nothing, it's depth, man. If we've learned nothing beyond the obvious, depth. Obviously, we need man that can score goals. Every team is going to miss a key player in it. Like, we've missed Saka, we've even missed Kai Havertz at times. We've seen at our club when whatever year it was, 2022, 23, when Saliba got injured, we saw it with Rodri. I saw it. So it's nothing unique necessarily to Arsenal, but I just feel, especially in the Champions League, like the first leg with Partey, it's like, because our system is so hyper-focused on the collective, but also the individuals, if one player is missing, it has a knock-on effect everywhere. Now, obviously, some of this is circumstantial, but Partey comes out the team. Marino goes back into midfield. Obviously, he was doing his thing up front. There's now moving parts, and you can see that in our game sometimes. And we've got to be able to cope with that. We need to have more like-for-like changes. That obviously Zubamendi's come in now, but if we just go off last season, we might have a player that isn't like Partey's up here, but they're here. Like, that's still a good level. Like, obviously, they're not going to be Thomas Partey, but they can still chip in and whatnot. Because I do think we've got that thing where there might be one issue in the team, and because we've tried to fix that, there's like 2-3 indirect sub issues now, if that makes sense. So yeah, man, we need a good bench, then we could win the league. I suggest big him up. Prime Santi was a monster. They don't make players like that anymore. They don't, man. They don't. And it's easier said than done. But Mikel Arteta, man, like, bro, you're Spanish, bro. You're bringing in Zubamendi. Oh, is this frozen? I think I've frozen. Oh, I'm back. You brought in Zubamendi, bro. Just bring a couple Spanish midfielders. It's like, bring the wavy Spanish players. It's like Edu, like Brazil, like Estalvio, all these South American / Brazilian players. We ain't grabbed none of them. What's going on? Long time since I caught one of these. Big up DJ in the chat. We decided between Gyokeres and Sesko yet. I don't think we'll decide until we see one walk in through the club, man. Sell him. Yeah, some of you will see the money for Martinelli and say, just take it. I understand it. I wouldn't necessarily... Like, there's players that need to be moved on, in it. Zinchenko, Fabio Vieira, there's others. Then you look at... We know Kai Havertz isn't going to leave, but many people, if there was a certain offer, there's a decision to make. We've tried to let Partey... We've been open to letting Partey go for a couple of years. There's a couple of those players, and I'd say at the moment, I would say Partey's maybe in that, even though he's leaving. Partey, I'd say Trossard, I'd say Kivio, I'd say Martinelli, players that you might not necessarily be planning to sell, and you might be planning for next season with them in some capacity, but you've got a decision to make if offers are placed at the table, man. So yeah, we'll get into it, but I don't buy the Martinelli buying links for what it's worth. Anyways, people, literally, I just don't. I do think when you look at the papers and the tabloids, yeah. Sorry, general chat. Just making a timestamp. Where you look at it, if you're clearly Bayern Munich, for example, right? They're looking for a left winger. They're probably considering everything, you know, a bit like us, ironically. That's why both teams, get linked with the same players. But if you're Bayern Munich and you're planning for a left winger, like you're not just waking up now, you're scouting from all over the world, emerging talents, this league, that league. The name Martinelli, whether he's the answer for them or not, naturally, it's going to be considered. Like, it's going to be, they're going to consider that. And just broadly with Martinelli, if I'm honest with you, if I'm honest with you, where Martinelli's concerned, a part of me thinks you'd see a better Martinelli. It sounds messed to say, and I've just said I don't want to sell him, but I think you'd see a better Martinelli if he left Arsenal, purely because there'd still be those selling question marks, but I just feel a team that is more direct, a bit more end-to-end. Historically, what you saw with Klopp at Liverpool, I think that's his thing. Like, even last season, half of his highlights have come in crazy end-to-end games. There's been a lot of open space. Of course, there's been exceptions to the rule, but that's bread and butter. Crazy games, end-to-end basketball, like football matches. That's Martinelli's bread and butter. So we'll have to see how much is Bayern Munich really going to offer for Martinelli. If you're them, you're not going with 60, 70, really and truly, because they might... I assume they believe Nico Williams is better because they tried to get him, but you're not spending those 60, 70 million plus on Martinelli. You're probably saying 40, 50 max tops. Like, if I'm honest with you, Martinelli has hit his ceiling. I disagree, but he has stagnated, and sometimes you need a divorce, if I'm honest. So Bayern want Leao and Martinelli. We're going to get into it. DG, you can write the script. Arsenal mess around and end up losing both Gyokeres and Sesko. It's becoming an absolute joke. Arsenal, for God's sake, slap £70 million down for Gyokeres. I big up my guy, man. Make sure you're following RYL Football Hub. He was on the platform on. Big up him and African Gooner. What was it? Friday. Yeah, Friday. Go and check that video out. Give the man some subscribes and stuff. Have to get you back on it this week, man. Big up my brother. I'm starting to think Gyokeres will only move close to the transfer deadline day because of Sporting. Boy, I mean, at the end of the day, Sporting hold all the aces. No clue on the length of his contract and all of that, but they hold the aces. Like, in theory, we all know he's not going to go for his release clause, but they could sit there and say, if you're not paying his release clause, F off. Now, that will kind of be cutting off their nose to spite their face, if it makes sense, because the longer it drags out, he would still get a move. But like what he's been linked with Man United, Arsenal, a bunch of teams. If Arsenal say you're taking too long, we're getting this striker. Chelsea do the same, United do the same. The market isn't there, and it just leaves, Juventus would have to move on as well. They've been linked with him. He's ruled out Saudi, but they do hold all the aces at this moment in time, essentially. Like, he's under contract. I guess for them, it's just delaying the inevitable. The quicker you sell him, the quicker you reinvest, the quicker you don't have, I don't want to say it's negative, but this negative stench around the club, and you move on with players that evidently are going to be there, innit? So yeah, DG, don't discount Zubi's impact on Nelly. I'm predicting Nelly's best campaign in terms of GA next season. He's been improving on his left foot a lot. This year was noticeable. I wouldn't sell. I hear you, and I don't disagree. You know, good players can make other players better and whatnot. I just disagree in the sense that, for me personally, I'm past that stage with Martinelli. Like, I was at that stage with Martinelli, not the season that's just gone, the year before that. So, you know, when we lost out on the last day, I'm kind of past the language around Martinelli now, in my opinion, where you need a left back and you need this and that to be better in the tactics. Of course, this is still prevalent. It plays a part, but I think it's just you, Martinelli, because as someone that likes the guy, I haven't seen enough improvement consistently over 90 minutes. I love him. He works hard. You can tell he's a good player. You know, nobody, I'm not gassing him, but in a squad, it's nice to have his asset of pace. Nobody likes to play against pace. As a Sunday League fullback, I can tell you that wingers don't want to play against pace. Martinelli is weird because if there's 3 actions to score a goal, right, as I keep saying, he messes up at the last one. Like, he's been offside a lot, but for example, he'll hold his run, he'll make a good, he'll hold his run so he's not offside, he'll make a good darting run, the ball comes in, first touch will be good. When it's now time to either slot it near or far post or pick up your head and assist, this is now where he struggles. And there's been numerous aspects of that. But I would say for me, I don't know why it always sticks out, man. Maybe because big Gabriel Magalhaes scored a header. Do you not remember the Spurs game? So yeah, man, I hear you. You're not wrong, but personally, I think I'm past that. If I'm honest with you, with Martinelli, like, you just need to pattern up for yourself now. You need to fix up if it makes sense. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. We'll get into everything in a sec, people, but I'm enjoying you lot's chat. Like, because of you lot, I keep changing the timestamps. Aren't I a good guy? Smash the like button and subscribe if you're new here. Sell Jesus and Havertz. I hear you, but it's all fun and games saying sell them, yeah? There's just so many moving parts. Jesus is injured, so he ain't going nowhere. Kai Havertz seems comfortable in London and with his family, and he clearly is loved by his teammates and the manager. Whether I think that or you think that, this is it, innit? So he's got a spot here, essentially. And they're on big wages. We might get an offer that we deem acceptable for either or both players, for this example, people. And they might say, I don't want to move because I might not be getting the wages I want, or I want to stay and be a success at Arsenal. So this is what I mean by it's all fun and games saying sell Gabriel Jesus, sell Havertz. You know, who else would you lot say? Potentially a Martinelli, that kind of range of the players in our side. It's not that it's illogical, because there is sense behind it, but it's all fun and games saying sell them. When you break it down, it's not really making sense. Even with the whole backdrop of, we know why people are running down their contracts. But even Zinchenko, I reckon Zinchenko's gone. But what if he says, you know what, I reckon the manager will learn to rotate next season. He might even use me in midfield. We know Arsenal probably sign a defender, but if we don't, maybe that's my avenue. I might want to run down my deal so that I'm more attractive and I get my loyalty bonus. I might not. I'm getting to that stage in my career now where I'm not old, but I'm not exactly young. I've got to maximize the payments. I think I said this in the video I brought out earlier. Yeah, like, I was watching the sound bites. I think Thomas Partey gave an interview in Ghana or something of that ilk, innit? And he was talking, and I don't know why it stuck out, but he was basic, and I can't fact check this actually, but long story short, he said that either in 2018 or 2019 is when, like, Arsenal started showing that, yo, we're on signing you type of thing, right? And he was saying that when he went into the Atletico Madrid team, so when he's rised in prominence and importance in that side, he's on the same contract. Now, obviously, it's very different at Arsenal because there's been injuries. There's been many talking points with Thomas Partey, right? But essentially, it's the same thing. Like, you're on that same contract you signed when you joined our football club till now, right? So I start to understand vaguely where your head might be at, if that makes sense. And apparently he only got the move to Arsenal. He said something along the lines of he only got the move to Arsenal because his agent had to take a hit or something. Bert was playing hardball them times there, man. That's true, but to a certain point I'm judging Burton more on his sales. If he could get good money for Havertz and Jesus or Nelly, I'd rate that more than signing 9. I'm not gonna lie, bro, I'll rate the 9, but I hear the angle you're coming with. But even that, like, Arsenal Football Club, Burton included, like, they have to do a lot. We know the positions that need to be addressed. We know I want to be wary of using the war chest and unprecedented summer, and, you know, us fans, like, for the last couple of years, definitely doing it now. We definitely were saying it last summer. This needs to be the best summer we've had in ages. So I hear all of that, and we still need to do that. But how much of a Berta summer is it? Because if you're Berta and you've just walked in, you need to learn everything at Arsenal. You need to get on the same hymn sheet as them. You can have all the ideas as you want. I'm not saying that Sesko or Gyokeres are not good options, but what if he thinks Gyokeres is the best option, but 10 other men that are involved in the recruitment, they're all saying Sesko? He's going to lose that game, is he not? So how much of it is it? Like, clearly there's a mandate, I feel, when you look beyond the obvious, to sell players. I think that was said last summer as well. Our fans, we were like, oh, you know what? We sniffed the Premier League trophy, finished 2 points behind City or something of that ilk. If we just buy X, Y, and Z, we still might not get over the line, but we put ourselves in good stead. And I think we're right for thinking like that. But then when you look at the Eddie and Nketiah, the Ramsdales, the Smith Rowe, some of these men could have stayed for depth purposes, you know, in hindsight. But I think there was an emphasis on sales because we have spent money and we have got man on big wages. I still think that there's an element of that this summer to pattern that up, if that makes sense. Obviously, renewals as well. You know, the Magalhães, Miles Lewis, Skelly, we're off on a good stead. Hopefully, Saliba, Saka, them kind of man follow. It seems like the majority of the groundwork was done with Zubamendi, so I just assume just tying up loose ends in that regard. Obviously, I would also say showing an ability to pivot. That's something we struggled with. You look at, obviously, our pursuit of Garcia that's gone Barcelona last summer and what we did on deadline day. So I think he has to show an ability to pivot, pattern up the wages, / sales, obviously bring in quality. But how much of a better summer is it? Because we must have known by the end of the year, last year, like all clubs, they've done their recruitment or they're planning loosely on it. So how much of it are we really going to learn about him? That being said, though, he still needs to get it done because he's smarter than us in this regards. If we are just normal fans can say this, someone that's been in the game for 11 and 12 years or something at Atletico Madrid, actually, let alone his whole time, he has to have known the realm he walked in. You have to know what rooms you're walking in this stuff, or you're in trouble. Rangers and Zubamendi were both available for the same price, but we went for Zubamendi. I hear it, man, but it's a bit disingenuous to Zubamendi. The man ain't kicked a ball. I'm cool with Zubamendi. I'm actually quite bullish about his signing, if I'm honest. DG, where do we finish in the table next season? In my opinion, third, based on the transfer business in the market. Why don't we ever give ourselves the best chance to win? Because winning is not our right. I wish I had the answer for the second part of it, but I do at this moment in time think Arsenal are going to finish third, in my opinion. I want to be wrong naturally, and I'll probably change my opinion. It's the 22nd of June right now. Probably change my opinion the 22nd of July, probably the 22nd of August, and probably in September. But I had to go after PSG game. 2 big F-ups. What was that? To be fair, everyone's made mistakes, man. And if, you know, even if with Partey's F-ups across the 2 legs, anyone who played either 5 minutes or 90, including the manager, can everyone say they did enough? If you can say you couldn't have given any more, there's nothing else you could have applied, fair enough. But I don't think the majority of our team can say that, man, if I'm honest. So, yeah, man, big up you lot, though, man. Interesting talking points as usual. It's a pleasure to be here. Martinelli is a 9. I hear you, and I think he's got the capacity to play as a number 9. But at the end of the day, when is that going to happen at Arsenal? Because we're probably going to bring in a striker, right? Kai Havertz is definitely going to get more opportunities, rightly or wrongly. I'm not saying I agree with this, but Kai's going to play up front a lot more than him, right? We're going to bring in a striker. Obviously, we've seen throughout the time Martinelli's been here and Arteta's been here, there's been different men that have played up front. I'm exaggerating a bit, but we've seen Lacazette, we've seen Aubameyang, you've seen Marino now, you've seen Kai Havertz, you're going to see a new guy, you've seen Jesus, you've seen Nketiah. You've yet to see Martinelli get an extended run in the side through the middle, especially last season when, well, we didn't have Kai. Like, we were down to our bare bones, essentially. Obviously, Arteta's done it, but he's more flirted with it, or like against Liverpool, he did it in-game. We haven't seen it on a consistent basis. So I'm not saying it's the wrong option. Maybe the manager either doesn't believe in his capabilities to do what he wants from his striker at Arsenal, or he doesn't feel he's ready yet. I hear it, though. I do hear it. But then if I'm criticizing Martinelli's decision-making on the left wing, up front, like, you know, you look in today's day and age, one of the positions you've got to be able to have good decision making and think and consistently think has to be up front. You're basically a defender, a winger, a striker, a midfielder, all in one. You see it with the pulling out wide, leading the press, dropping into midfield, almost acting like a sacrificial lamb, really, really and truly, because that's what happens with a lot of the strikers that we've seen at Arsenal so far. You're getting man marked. Our freedom, or quote unquote, comes from the wide options. Yes, I know there's like 20 players marking Saka 9 times out of 10. What about Saka as a 9? That stint via PSG was more than promising any thoughts. I must admit, yeah, Saka needs to still play a right wing in it. That's your bread and butter. We ain't got 100 likes, you little boy in it. Come on, man. So I hear you, but I am intrigued to see what Saka could do centrally. I used to shut it down like completely, like, nah, leave the guy out there. And I'm not saying I want to see it, but I am. It is an intriguing prospect. Martinelli performs one time every 5 matches. Less of that. If we get 2 goal scoring strikers, 2 attacking midfielders, sell no defenders, then we can challenge any top team. I hear it, man. But again, unfortunately, it's all a lot of ifs and buts, man. Also, quick question. What do you think of the social media landscape concerning Arsenal? Seems like everyone is only starting to panic now when this has been going on since last summer. Pardon me, because people bury their heads in the sand. I think with social media, whether that's YouTube, I would just say football conversations, especially our football club, whether it's on TV, social media, the big media platforms, or us, normal people on YouTube. I do think there's a lack of nuance. I think you've got to pretend everything's amazing or everything's dead. I think in good times, you can't really, people have an inability when everything's going right to maybe look at little chinks in the armor. I look at when I started YouTube, I always say toughest times, but toughest times, quote unquote. Do you remember when Emery went on that unbeaten run? Of course, I was loving it. We're unbeaten, we're not losing, but we was getting by the skin of our teeth. And don't get it twisted. You're going to get that in the Premier League, but it was happening too often. You remember when, even me, I used to say it like, oh, one thing I like about Emery, he changes things in the second half. If things are not working in the first, he changes it up. Second half, we go mad. And normally that was the case. But then you have to ask, you can't always judge by the answers given. It's more the questions you pose, in it, if that makes sense. Then I asked myself, like, if we're always having to change things at halftime, are we setting out in the right way? So I guess I'm getting at there's no discussing the nuances around things, because sometimes your team could be shit. You could lose. It sounds mad to say, but you could lose or have no win in 5 or 10. And I know it's a results-driven business. Fundamentally, if you've got 5 to 10 losses, and I'm exaggerating a bit. Of course, that is negative. People can lose jobs, question marks, pressure, all that stuff. But you could have 5-10 games, yeah, where you've won, but you at some point the performance and what you're getting is going to correlate. Like, you're actually playing shit. There's sometimes where you could be on a barren run in 5-10 games, but there's actually reasons to somewhat be positive. But there's no nuance. It's all black and white, bro. Like, yeah, I remember we were unbeaten, but we were playing basketball matches. Exactly. And do you know what tipped me? It was the fact that we did the respectfully to Cardiff, big them up. But the comeback against Cardiff, I was like, oh, what's going on there, man? DG, that's a good point. But sometimes you can get it right on paper and the game changes, so you need to change with it. Facts. And that's something we don't adapt. That's one criticism I have of Mikel Arteta, because I think it's almost a gift and a curse. I like the fact that you overplan, you micromanage, you do all that madman stuff you do. But you see, when it doesn't play out the way you think it's going to play out, or there's a spanner in the works, it's that you got to find that balance of sticking to the script and changing. That's why I think he makes them subs in the 85th minute, rightly or wrongly, because he's conceded. You know what? Now it is what it is. So it'd be interesting. Smash the likes and get the stream to 100 likes. You lot hella stingy. Hella stingy, bro. The best things in life are free. You look on the Sunday, can't just hit the like button. Marino's a 9 is better than Havertz. He was a budget R9. Bro, I don't know about that, but I hear that. I don't know about the R9 thing. Martinelli would suit Newcastle. I'm sure we will be left short once again. Once this happens, I'll forever lose faith in this club's ambition. This window will make or break loyalty with fans. You can lie to some of the people some of the time, but you can't lie to them all the time. And even the most positive, like, the ridiculously positive where it's negative, you can't, even you're seeing the cracks. Would you like Rashford? If so, where would he play? I don't mind Rashford, but you need to be a squad player in it on a cheeky little loan, but it doesn't make sense. You'd have to play off the left, really. And if we want to get over the line, we need players that we can bet on. We know Saka is going to get X amount of numbers. We know we can rely on our defense for clean sheets and all of that. Even though I think we dropped off a cliff defensively, the statistics are still there. We've still done great. Goals win games, and we can't bet on them. I don't think Martinelli's a bad player. But it wouldn't surprise me if you go on you get double figures in the Prem. It also wouldn't surprise me if you don't. The same with Trossard. Kai Havertz statistically is our bagsman, excluding Saka, which is testament to Kai. He's pretty damning on the club, and it raises in question, how do you expect to do stuff? If we need firepower, we've got a butter knife essentially in Kai through the middle. And I mean that in the most respectful way. Like, hey, it's the reality of it. Zubi's class. Big up Ryan, man. Rangers and Zubi are different profiles. We should get Hato, Gyokeres, and Liao. That would be a step in the right direction. As fans, we put out such terrible PR, these players, and ask for others to pay big money. We need to change that. What do you mean? Osimhen and Isaac, several, man. What do you mean by that? When is Jesus supposed to be back? Didn't they say end of the year? So that tells me January 2026, if I'm honest, man. But Speedy recovery. Ever since they brought in Fabio Vieira, he has been on loan. What kind of business is this? And yet our players have been injured. To be fair, he's only gone in his first loan away from Arsenal last season. It's annoying with Fabio. Sometimes it just don't work out. I think with Fabio Vieira and Lokonga, we tried to outsmart the market. We probably bought them when we took the food out of the oven before it was roasted, didn't it? And it's an L because Fabio, you're a good player. I just don't know how you tie into this Arsenal thing. You might end up staying because it's all fun and games saying selling, but what money are you getting? It wouldn't surprise me if he's one that just hangs around at the club. It also wouldn't surprise me if he actually stays on loan at Porto for another year, if I'm completely honest. Big up Havertz, next season striker. Not going to lie, I rate Fabio as a footballer more than Guy. Yeah, as a footballer, 100%. Has the system hampered the players, and can they be better if we change our system, or have the players not evolved and we need to move past them? Everything. Certain men haven't, especially in the attacking rank, certain men haven't kicked on. The system, I do think, shocks us. We need to find a way to break down low blocks, move the ball a bit quicker. And it's bang on with what I say. It's like, yeah, I want a striker, I want a left winger, but if we have whether we do it or not, but let's just assume everybody wants Rodrigo right now where Arsenal fans are concerned. I'd say the majority of Arsenal fans want Gyokeres, right? So let's just say we got a front three of Bukayo Saka on the right, obviously Rodrigo on the left, and Gyokeres up front. In terms of the attack, because again, there's other moving pieces and things we need to do, but in terms of the attack, do you lot feel it's just you get better players and we're living? It would help us. We probably don't have 14 draws, even though there's, we've not won. Some of them draws were draws because we were naive defensively, refereeing decisions, not killing off games, not having the ability to put the ball through the back of the net, different things. So I do think good players help. It might help us against a PSG in the second leg. First 20 minutes, you get 2 goals. It might be a different kind of affair. So it would. But I think people are underestimating it because tactically there's something, man. You can't genuinely just look at our front line and say, yeah, it's a personnel thing. Surely something's going to be done. Do you think Arsenal has a chance at winning the Prem? You got a chance, but I think we're third favourites. Rashford to Arsenal, is that panic buying? Is he the answer? It would be panic buying 1,000,000%, or panic loaning or whatever. It wouldn't make sense because I like Rashford, but what am I getting for you? What am I getting? I know throughout a 38-game period, I'm going to see 5 to 10 games where you've probably been mustard. You might score. Like Rashford's got ability. You've seen him score mad goals and do things, but I need you to do it for the majority of the season. We don't have enough of that in our front line. It's only really Saka. The other guys, they'll go through patches and do their thing. Man said, DG, you wonderful man. Hey, chill out, man. What do you think of Ritugi? I like him, man. He just thinks of one of them players that was linked with us for no reason. Probably joins one of the bigger Italian clubs, in my opinion. So, yeah, man. I'd sell Havertz to Saudi and go slap 70 on Morgan Rogers. I would, but then does Kai Havertz want to go Saudi Arabia? Where you got a World Cup to think about as well, where you're probably going to, whether we like him or not, you're going to be playing for Germany. Does he want to uproot his life? Because he's been in, I don't know how long he was at Chelsea, admittedly, but he was at Chelsea for time. You're at Arsenal. You've won the champs. I'm sure you're still in with the project of hoping we can win a league. Do you want to just cash out? But to be honest with you, the only way we're going to get anything close to our initial investment back on Kai Havertz is Saudi, but I can't see it. I just can't see it, man. I can't see it. Let's make another timestamp. And let's see what's concerning our football club in the tabloids, guys and girls, man. Has my screen shared? No, it hasn't at this moment in time. There we go. First things first, big up Santi Cazorla, man. He could have retired comfortably, but instead chose to return to his boyhood club, Oviedo, at 38 on a minimum wage contract. Now at 40, he's just helped guide them back to La Liga for the first time in 24 years, scoring in both the playoff semi-final and the final. Oh, Santi Cazorla. It just feels like this is one of those footballing years. Hey, low fat, mo fat, what a name. But big up yourself. I saw you say, well, go on earlier. It feels like one of them years in football, isn't it, really? Like the year of the underdogs. Apart from us. But it is what it is. Again, Christian Falk, who I believe works for Sky Germany, said, our story, Bayern are discussing a transfer of Gabriel Martinelli of Arsenal. Discussing. They could have discussed it and said, no, actually, he's not that very good. Forget all of that type of thing. Or maybe he might want to join us. Maybe Arsenal, if they get 50 million offer, it might make them a bit horny and they'll sell him. Maybe that is that. But just because they're discussing it, don't mean they're going to buy him and it's going to do anything for us. Man said Santi loan deal for next season. It wouldn't be the worst. We've definitely done worse. And even this, and why I don't buy too much into it, yeah, is because Bayern are linked with wingers. So naturally, it's easy to just make up these stories. But just by going on this guy's account, yeah, bro, everybody's getting linked with someone, bro. My man's just. I'm trying to scroll down so I ain't missing anything, but these men have linked Bayern with they're still running the Rafael, the Nico Williams, even though he's going Barca. They're still mentioning Bacola. Then you scroll up here, Diaz. Now the Diaz thing to to Barcelona, it doesn't look like it's happening, but that's someone that can play all across the front three, plays left wing, right? He's been linked with Bayern. Martinelli, as we've discussed, he's been linked with Bayern. Cody Gakpo, I don't know why he would leave. You know, Bayern Munich's a fantastic club, but I don't know why he'd leave Liverpool right now. He's been linked with Bayern. Jamie Gittins, just like Chelsea, can play in a bunch of roles like off the left. He's been linked with Bayern. Bro, my man's just got the ball and he's just shooting in terms of linking players to Bayern from 30 yards. Like, you're thinking any winger he can think of, he said that Bayern are on the minute. Gittins there, still running the Nico Williams one. Look, Bayern are still hoping to have a chance for Nico Williams of Bilbao if Barcelona, Balvelona, as he's put there, couldn't pay the transfer. Really? So excited to make this up. He couldn't even spell check. It's come from someone dyslexic as well. But nonetheless, apparently we've set an asking price. Is Bayern consider Gabriel Martinelli transfer? They're discussing him according to reports in Germany. He's played 225 times for us. He did only cost 6 million, so we would make a significant profit. He's played at least 40 games in each of our last 3 seasons, so he is kind of a key player, but he is someone that naturally the club have to be open to offers. You haven't made yourself unsellable. Saka's unsellable, and even that is a player really unsellable. Arsenal's pursuit of a new winger has raised doubt over Martinelli's future at the club. Naturally, if we look at what I would say statistically is Arteta's strongest front three, it would have been Kai Havertz, Martinelli, and Saka, right? Obviously, if we just look at the starting 11 and not depth, if we're talking about players that come in and upgrade us, 2 of those 3 positions up front need to be upgraded upon. So my point of saying that is to say this: if I'm a journalist with my head screwed on and I'm milking it by linking Arsenal with transfers, people with Arsenal signings, etc., right? I'm obviously, as soon as they sign a striker, what's going on with Kai? I'm going to make articles about that. If we sign a left winger, what's going on with Martinelli? Get where I'm going. I'm just trying to find where it said that the asking price. Apparently the arrival of a new winger would certainly harm Martinelli's game time at the Emirates, with Saka a lock-in on the other wing. Interest in Martinelli has come in the form of Bundesliga champions Bayern Munich, who have expressed interest in a move, according to Blin. Company is keen to sign some attackers. We all know there's lost Sane. Arteta and Martinelli remains to be seen, but he's got a deal until 2027, and apparently we'd want at least 50 million. Fair play. Martinelli, meanwhile, is said to be hoping to extend his stay in North London, having declared his love for Arsenal back in April. Apparently, he's got an option of another year. So essentially, in theory, he's contracted until 2028 then, really. So I'm not too sure. And you're relying on the player. But as stated, they're linked with Diaz and Cody Gakpo. So it is what it is. The only left winger they ain't been linked with is Marcus Rashford. And you'd imagine they'll go do that in a second. You would have seen earlier today, Arsenal apparently are reportedly growing frustrated with Benjamin Sesko over the RB Leipzig stars' wage demands. The Gunners are keen to bring in Sesko, 22, this summer, with the 70 million rated Slovenian striker having been tracked by the club for a long time. Mikel Arteta's side had offers rejected for Sesko last summer and in January, and he was their number 1 target as they looked to strengthen in attack, having come second in the Premier League for the 3rd consecutive season. Arsenal also eyeing up Gyokeres, who is valued at around 60 million. But for now, the Swede is viewed as an alternative to Sesko if a move can't be completed. According to The Sun, Arsenal's hopes of bringing in Sesko have hit a stumbling block in regards to his wage demands. The report claims that Sesko is asking for a deal at a much higher level than the Gunners were planning to offer. That typically happens in business. This could hamper any potential transfer. Maybe that's why the Gyokeres stuff won't go away. And we hear that Berta likes to tie up several deals so we can move in either direction. And it's an issue that may force a rethink from Arsenal's perspective. Gyokeres is said to realise he's not Arsenal's first choice, but he's still desperate for a move to the Premier League following a stunning season where he scored 53 goals and 13 assists in just 52 games for Sporting. That's quality, man. The Portuguese side are willing to sell him. The Gunners and their sporting director, Andrea Berta, are keen to make sure they don't miss out on both their targets. Meanwhile, amid speculation over Sesko, who has been linked to several top European clubs and also rejected an offer from Saudi Arabian side El Hilal, the 22-year-old's agent, Elvis Bazanovic, this week provided an update on the situation. Even if there may be or will be a strong desire of any player to move to a certain club, we will never force or blackmail RB Leipzig. I believe this is not the right way, because the way you actually exit from a club shows your values that you are bringing into a new club. I can understand in very big transfers, there are a lot of different interests, but no matter what, I believe in football world should be more respect. So that's why we do things in the right way or we don't do them. It's very simple. Even maybe even maybe in the media, it looks very complicated. Fair enough. He also said Sesko's numbers at his age compared to some strikers with already great careers at his age are confirming my words. Obviously, Sesko's his client. He's going to talk him up. There's no point me being an agent and downplaying my talent. It don't make sense. It's like Eddie Hearn not gassing up his boxes. It's not how you sell fights, is it? He will move from Leipzig only when we recognize a special club, a special project with a special coach. And to be fair, you've heard everything under the sun with Sesko and Gyokeres. The latest with Sesko is he wants a release clause in any potential Arsenal deal. Apparently, United accept Gyokeres is joining Arsenal. People they've given up, according to Football Insider. It's weird because they believe he's joining Arsenal. He believes Sesko is Arsenal's first choice. It's just a merry-go-round, man, but it is what it is. Arsenal shifted their focus to Rodrigo after accepting defeat in the chase for Nico Williams, according to the Spanish media. I'll believe it when I see it in relation to Rodrigo. Trossard, meanwhile, has often had to deputize in other positions and is on an expiring contract, with negotiations moving incredibly slow in recent months. Should no agreement on fresh terms be reached, he could be sold this summer. We know he was desperate for Williams. Ain't happening. Arsenal are still keen on Rodrigo. Allegedly, he's still on the shortlist. It's going to take a lot of money. God knows for his wages, which we've also heard is a stumbling block, but they're going to want around 100 million euros. So what's that, 80 odd? I'll believe it when I see it, man. Partey is 90% likely to let his contract expire, people. Apparently, the North London club changed their stance on a potential exit for the 32-year-old in previous windows. Partey had increasingly become a candidate to depart, but it's been a different story this summer, with Arsenal determined to extend his expiring contract. An offer for fresh terms has been on the table for months. As far back as April, Partey had been stalling on green light and extension. There's been complete radio silence on the matter since then. With 30th of June mere days away, it seems that Arsenal will lose out on one of their most reliable performers of the previous season. He's 90% likely to go. Apparently, he's got interest from other Premier League clubs, and AC Milan, Juventus, Atletico Madrid are still linked with Donny, man. So I don't know what to make of that. That was the interview I was talking about. But long story short, he revealed he would join Arsenal in 2018 after Atletico Madrid beat us in the Europa League. In 2020, Andrea Berta wanted him to stay, but he left after the president refused to give his agent a 10% commission. So, boy, Berta's been here before with this Donny in it, really and truly. I've covered this before, but long story short, apparently Arsenal believe that 80 million is probably too steep for Gyokeres. 75 million for Sesko is a bit too high, given his unprovenness in the Premier League. And if something goes left with that, we all know Ollie Watkins is the first striker consistently linked with us. We've gone over this, but Gyokeres' dreams of playing for Arsenal. Studgrass could be about to sign Nathan Butler or Deji. He left Arsenal after getting released. Mark Gurhey apparently wants a Liverpool move. We've gone over Partey already, so I won't bore you lot. What else have we got? We've gone over Partey. We've been linked with Leicester City's El Khanous. Apparently, we've already reached an agreement on personal terms. We now need to reach an agreement with Leicester on the fee, folks. We've held talks with Jarell Hato's reps. Arsenal want to speed up the process to beat Chelsea to the signing. Zubamendi will wear the 36 shirt. His move will become official in the first week of July. I hope that's the last time we get to see that. We've been linked with Warren Zaire-Emery. PSG have no intention of letting him go. This is said we're willing to go as high as 70 million for Sesko. So a bit directly conflating what we've seen already, innit? We can close that. We're linked with Matoma Azar Bayern Munich. So again, piggybacking off what we've been reading. We're still linked with Ogomi of Sevilla. Madueke, we don't need him, people. He's not got nothing we're missing apart from depth. I did cover this in a video earlier, but apparently Arsenal have identified Brentford's Nordgaard as their target. He's 31, same age, or more or less same age as Partey. He's got 2 years left on his deal. It don't make sense, in my opinion. Yes, he's Premier League proven he isn't the worst. It could be a shrewd short-term addition. Don't make sense to me, man. Arsenal's move for Real Madrid's winger Rodrigo's hit a stumbling block because of the Brazilians' wage demands of 10.2 million a year, people. So yeah, we've gone over that already. Yeah, so I don't think there's anything else here. We'll say 60 million star, incredibly frustrated. Arsenal haven't bid for him yet. Berta is playing a risky game. Gyokeres frustrated that Arsenal are yet to send an offer to Sporting. Right now, it's believed Arsenal will sign either Gyokeres or Sesko to solve their striker conundrum. But in terms of clubs interested in Gyokeres, they might need to make a decision swiftly, given the Swedish striker is finding the lack of movement from North London incredibly frustrating. That's according to journalist Andy Brassel, who was speaking on the Continent podcast. What did you specifically say? Firstly, the fact that there's not going to be any European football. And secondly, the fact that it's been quite clear they are not exactly flushed over the last little while. And the fact that when Gyokeres has gone to the open market Federico Varandas, the sporting president, has gone back on what Gyokeres and his camp feel is his word of letting him go for a lower figure. You see why words have no place in business? You need official documents. They've even threatened him recently because they're not happy with the offers that have come in. They've been threatening him and his agent with charging the full release clause. Now, look, I don't think that will happen. I think something will still come about. But the fact Arsenal have been interested, but not all in, from what I gather, have not actually made an official offer yet. That has been incredibly frustrating for Gyokeres. It's been incredibly frustrating for Sporting as well. And it's given a little bit of encouragement to Juventus. Fair play in that regard. What's this? This can't be anything in relation to Arsenal. Nothing. Apparently, Galatasaray want to sign Aaron Ramsdale on loan. Are we due any money? Apparently, Crystal Palace will be willing to accept 3 installments of approximately 20 million for Eze. They are no longer holding out for the majority of his reported 68 million release clause. Get it done, man. Bring him to the carpet. We've been linked with Camavinga, says this journalist. Arsenal have rekindled their interest in Camavinga as Thomas Partey's future remains unclear. The Gunners recently sounded out Real Madrid about Camavinga's situation after he had an inconsistent 2024-25 season. Madrid isn't selling unless they make a huge offer. I mean, he can play left back as well, but I can't see it. Awobi said, we like to sign Arsenal players. Maybe we'll sign another. When responding to questions about Fulham's business. Is that talking about Reece Nelson, who's apparently going to make that move permanent? Rafael was the most divisive name internally. This is from Bayern Munich sources. There are skeptical voices that doubt whether he truly fits Bayern's DNA. Criticism includes a lack of mentality, lack of defensive work, and too much ego. Can this apply to Arsenal? On the other hand, other decision makers believe that his potential is a risk and that he's worth taking a risk and committing to his transfer. Would you not make it that? If Partey does indeed depart, Arsenal apparently will actively seek to recruit another midfielder. That is reported by Ryan Taylor of the Sunday Mirror. Partey is 90% likely to leave. Once again, Zubamendi is going to wear the 36 shirt. The future of Rodrigo, who's admired by Arsenal, will be decided in the coming weeks after talks with Alonso, says being reported by the Times. Jonathan Bakayoko has been linked with Arsenal, has received an offer apparently from an undisclosed Premier League club. So I have to see what's going on there. Spurs have been linked with Nordgaard, obviously, because Thomas Frank's become the new Spurs gaffer. So they're going to get linked with Brentford players. I reckon they get Visa. So are the links with Nordgaard and Arsenal legit? I don't know. And it was so good. I had to put it up there twice, man. But yeah, man, let's see what else you lot are saying. Rodgers or Eze for central roles, I'd love. I reckon they could potentially take Odegaard out the starting 11, but we won't get them, bro. And that's where we're at. Any updates on Mbuemo? No, but we're not going to grab him. Sesko could score 15 goals in a league campaign before asking for a release clause. How do we get these cronkies out? They're not going anywhere. I think realistically, after Williams and Rodrigo, it's players like Semenyo, Gordon that we will bag. For me, they're not big enough upgrades on Martinelli. Fighting words in the chat. What happened there? Arsenal take way too long to get signings done. If you really want to play, I'll pay the money and move on to the next target. Why is that so difficult for this club? I wish I had answers for you lot, man. If not Leao, Eze, I'd take Rodgers, but he's expensive too. But we should make a bid for Bacola. Don't seem like PSG want to let Bacola leave just yet. That's just agent talks to hurry Arsenal. It's all a bit of mind games, man. Partey was doing hoodoo to stay fit this season. Man sacrificed the entire squad's hamstrings for that new contract. This guy. Would you take João Felix? Nah. I'd love Belemba, but Belemba, you got to get these guys when they're at Leo, or you're probably looking at 70, 80 plus million for him, conservative. You know how we all know how Brighton operate. Maybe there's beef between Berta and Partey since Atletico. I hope bygones can be bygones, but yeah. If not Williams or Rodrigo, who's the next best option? This is something that Arsenal need to be able to answer, or we're in issues, man. Gyokeres all day. The Sesko release clause should tip the scales. Seems like a lot of gamesmanship, man. And it's one where I keep saying you would want to be or know Arteta or Berta so you can get the scoop, because what's probably going on in the real world of football and what's being peddled out to us fans is probably something different. Havertz is a soft target. It is another expensive signing which is actually proving disruptive, but Declan Sideways is immune from criticism, so everyone can go after Kai. Easy scapegoat. Getting that Declan Rice is a bit mad. Top goal scorer despite missing half the season. Bro, we're going to win the league with Arteta up top and the Champions League too. You're moving, man. I don't know about the second part of that. You're probably trolling. Replace Cuesta with Cazorla. Yeah, but what? Because listen, Cazorla should always have a role at Arsenal. But what coaching experience does Cazorla have? Because Cuesta at 29 has, pardon me, achieved quite a lot. So it's romantic. But when you get down to the practicalities, what's going on? We're going to bomb this season. I hate to be the guy that looks like he's wishing this own club to lose, but look at the facts. We are not getting stuff done or moving like a club that wants to win. Boy, bring Santi in as assistant manager. Nah, you can get coaching wrong, but like, what's your competencies as a coach? Havertz is a good utility player. We need a squad. Shouldn't have bought him. We're at where we're at now, man. Harder getting players out the club when they don't want to go. Exactly. You can't call someone wonderful anymore without people being insecure this generation. It's crazy, isn't it? Gibbs, White, Rodgers, Eze, all three have played in England all their life and have proved themselves here. Sancho proved himself in the Bundesliga. Have we been linked to Jadon Sancho? Maybe I'm missing something. My predictions in terms of ins and outs. Well, I'm cheating a bit, but Kepa, Zubamendi, I reckon Sesko. Beyond that, in terms of outgoings, I reckon Kivio's probably sat down and said, you know, I want to go play more first team football. So I'd say him. I reckon Zinchenko's off. And it looks like Partey's gone now, innit? Who else? Nelson be gone, in my opinion. I'm not sure for Fabio Vieira. But yeah, man. Too much micromanagement, not enough fluidity. We shouldn't be surprised we're struggling to pull top players with the way we played last season. Fabio and Lokonga have potential, but I only see them working in a less intense league like Liga. But that's a physical league, you know. France is very physical. You can't sleep on it. I'd play 4-3-3 if it's up to me. Bro, it took the best midfielder in the world, Rodri, 1 year to get going in the PL. Zubamendi would get no time. Fans are impatient. A man said Sterling back one last dance. Why not, man? Why not? But Rashford is just Martinelli, but on 400 grand. Martinelli and Rashford as our options. Good players, but we'll pull our hair out, man. We'll pull our hair out. 1 week, they're going to be the best thing since sliced bread. The other is not. We need players that are consistent, man. Big up Santi for that. I covered that. Big up Santi for that one, man. Santi has the same pedigree as an assistant as Arteta has as the main man before taking over. Yes and no. I get the premise, but technically Arteta was a coach. Like, you had some level of coaching experience. Like, you was coaching in some capacity at City. Santi's going to retire, and the minute he retires, you're now becoming a coach. I'm not against it, but it don't make sense to me. Be part of the squad, but we're talking about we need to get over the line. We need a touch of experience. You've got an experienced man in Berta. Let's get some experienced man around it now. Potentially, if we don't do what needs to be done next season and we're not parading certain things in May of 2026, you know the writing's on the wall, or it should be for certain, man. I get people are frustrated, but it's still early in the window. Closes in September, doesn't it? It does. But every day that we don't see certain man arrive, it's just gonna get the questions just gonna get there. Bilimba. Allow me, man. Pronunciation, please take a day off. It's Sunday, man. I have a feeling we'll end up with Watkins, Minor Harvey. We do need to win something. There's no way around it. You have to achieve something next season. There has to be a parade. No parade, we're in issues. Santi should be reserves coach. I wouldn't mind him as a first team coach, but assistant, nah. You got to be given a chance. And maybe it's a blessing in disguise. We might have to switch up the squad. I'm not, well, the coaching stuff. Look at City. It's a bit snaky, but the guy that used to work with Klopp's gone over there. Again, well, it's not really snaky because he was there, but, you know, Colo Touré is now coaching. New ideas and everything, man. How can one not be frustrated with our transfer business? Trust me. I understand the window's not closed and I'm not going to do too much, but every day that goes on, like, it's not looking good right now, isn't it? But tomorrow, if you wake up and we've signed 3 players, we change the chat, people. 5 more likes and we have 100 people. One love to you lot tuned in as well, by the way. Santi getting his hands on some of the youngers that go through the reserves would be dynamite. I'm not going to lie, man. Santi Cazorla, you must be able to sign a 1-year deal at Arsenal, man. I reckon he can still do it. Gyokeres a must over anyone for me, bruv. His goals will take us to greatness. Sesko honestly looks no better than Mara and Chamak. Woof. If Arteta chooses him, we're finished as a true threat. Do you think Arteta has reached a peak with this squad? The next step should be winning, and I don't feel like he's winning it next season or the one after. Well, yeah, if there's no additions, we're in issues. I don't think individually every player's reached the promised land. I think Arteta's got a hell of a lot out of his squad, but I don't think we've maximized what we need to maximize. I don't feel he's learned over from certain mistakes. But, well, yeah, because if we want to be a team that convincingly gets top 4, pulls off the, the City 5-1s and the Madrids. We've got enough. If we want to get over the line, what needs to be introduced. So yeah, we have hit a ceiling currently. We need to do different things if we want different results. Because you're a good player, a legend even, doesn't mean you're going to be a good coach. Doesn't always translate. Okay, DG, we wake up tomorrow and we're signing Nordgaard, Madueke, and Kepa. Are you happy? Nah, gee. It's signings, but nah, bro. But that's the thing, people. That's one thing. Again, going back to what one of you said about social media. Again, you can, just because I might not like a player and they sign for us, I'm not saying that, we can't talk about how they could come good or whatever, but there's this theme that players that are slagged off by some of our fans, especially those with big social media platforms, they slag them off all season. They say, it's easy to avoid them. The minute they link to our club, it's a complete 180. I'm not talking about balanced rhetoric, but it's like, I've always believed this guy is good, and that there's a lot of dishonesty, man. A lot of it. Our transfer business is the same as always been, other than when we were trying to get back to top 4. We need to call out the owners and the board. This fan base needs to get together. I hear you, man. I hear you. But what is going to change, man? We need to spend all of the 300 million on 4 players, not 8. Get Gyokeres done as soon as, then focus on Rodrigo if possible. If not, then Leao for me. Arteta is stubborn. 80% of our signings the last 4 years have been horrendous. 80%? That's harsh. Feel like people don't know who they're supporting. This is Arsenal, owned by Cronkies. The man who backed the Cronkies after 5 good seasons in 20-odd years need to shut up. To be fair, they ain't been here for 20-odd years. But I get the point. If we sign Kepa, daily slander directed at him, I don't care. That's harsh, man. I'll give you a chance, innit? I'm not going to just draw you out, but I'm not going to act like it's proper amazing. I don't think it's the worst signing in the world, but I think we're going to see Kepa get an extended run in the side, man. I just feel, whenever I don't rate a player, I see an extended run in the side. God forbid, but I can see a reality. Raya is injured, and we're going to have to run him. But it's 5 mil, man. You're absolutely right, DJ. A lot of trashing players for views out there. There's no middle ground in this thing. There's maybe one day we'll get there. It's like either everything's amazing or everything's shit. There's no this is good, that's shit, this is shit, but that's good. I like this, but there's no nuance. Arteta is done. I don't see any evolution with his management skills. He's gonna have to show that this year because he's not leaving anytime soon. Who do you want? I want Hato. I want Gyokeres / Sesko. Wouldn't mind Malik Fifano. I'll check in for that. Ish, like it's a job. That's agendas. What do you think about the Nordgaard links? I like him in theory, but I don't buy it. He's 31. The minute the minute it's come out that Partey's leaving, you're seeing the Zubimendi news resurface. Then obviously you're seeing Nordgaard links. It don't make sense. You're letting one 31-year-old out, and then you're gonna bring a one in. And God knows, obviously Brentford are not stupid. They know they can't ask us for 50 million for Nordgaard, but they might ask for 20, 30. If he's going from Brentford to Arsenal with the greatest of respect, you might not be the highest wage player at our club, but you're going to want some decent wages. You're probably going to want a 3-year deal because this is as good as it's going to get, and a transfer fee. Surely it makes sense to go for someone with a bit more longevity in there. And that's even a good question for the club, because they have to ask themselves the question that even if you want to reduce Partey's wages, but let's just assume we freeze his wages or we give him a small uplift in wages, right, on a 2-year deal or whatever, yeah? Is that more expensive or cheaper than going and spending 40, 50 million on whoever you lot believe is a direct replacement for Partey, if not necessarily a 6, someone that is all-rounded, kind of ready to go now, fairly established? Is that going to be more expensive or less expensive? So there's stuff they're going to have to weigh up, man, because we are in win now mode. Realistically, Partey goes. I think we go for a younger Partey model, the Agumis of this world. I think we should have got Lavia the year we got Rice. So you should have got Rice and that. Unbeknownst to me, in hindsight, we did get 2 midfielders that summer. Big up to you lot that have been following me, because that summer was a madness. It was always the plan was Rice and Havertz, then, innit? Who is the worst player Mikel has signed in your opinion? Couple still. Willian, Pablo Marie, Runnison. I don't want to say his name, man, but you know the winger that was on loan, innit? I don't want to slander him. He's my guy, but Raheem Sterling. There's been a couple shit done still. Just give Partey the same wages with a signing bonus. And I know it's not the same, and obviously Partey and Trossard's wages are a bit different, but like Partey is probably more of a key player than Trossard. There's rumours that we're going to give Trossard a new contract, rumours we're going to give him an extension, rumours that it's actually going to be the same length of time. We're just going to give him an uplift in wages. Like when I look at that and then look at the Partey thing, and obviously everyone's situation is different per se, but It's not making sense to me. To be fair, he never signed Kolasinac. Yeah, he didn't sign Kolasinac. He was here when Wenger was here. Smash the lads. Lads, we aren't getting Sesko. He's going Bayern in 2 years' time. DG, Partey has more successful tackles than Zubamendi this season. Fair enough. But Zubamendi's quite high up there. If Arteta chooses Sesko over Gyokeres, it's the most embarrassing thing I've seen since Wenger chose Xhaka over Kante. Big up Mister in the building. Don't be surprised if we go from Rodrigo to Semenyo, and from Isaac to Sesko, and from Eze/Rogers to Nordgaard. This is what the board does. Nordgaard he's a decent player, but you're just asking for fans to revolt with that signing. I'm convinced we're too cheap to replace Partey. We won't get like for like quality, and I keep saying like for like quality because like it's win now mode thing now, isn't it? Really, of course, if you could find someone that's 21, better than Partey, years in the tank, that's great. But they're going to go for a younger model, someone who more tailors the squad. And even with that, I kind of want us to pivot away. If Partey's gone, you got Zubamendi, Rice can do the 6 thing. We ain't seeing it on a consistent basis, but Miles Lewis-Skelly could easily do that 6 thing. Go and find me at 8, man. But then they could sit there and say, that Kai can do that. Marino can play as an 8 or a 6. I don't really want to see Mikel Marino as a 6. I don't think it's going to work in the Prem for us. But you get the point, man. Those were on a free. Come on, DG, you know better than that. You just don't want to say we all know it's Havertz. Maybe we can play him at holding midfield as Xhaka replacement for real. I hear that, but I didn't want Havertz. I don't think we should have bought Havertz. I feel insecure. I feel we've created more problems than not. Nothing to do with Kai. I'll get on to Kai, but we shouldn't have bought him for 65 million. Shouldn't have put him on this wages. Don't know how Kai Havertz signing takes us to the next level. Could not have told you what we should have done with the 65 million, but I reckon that 65 million could have been put to better use. I agree with all of that. Do I like watching Kai Havertz necessarily play football? No. But when I accept Kai for what he is, when I accept the situation for what it is, when I just don't think the most of him and I stop doing the agenda thing, I don't think he's the worst signing. I hear it, the money spent, blah, blah, blah. I don't think he's the worst signing because when you strip it back, whether you came in for free or you was bought for 100 million, it doesn't matter. You've got 2 legs, you're going on a football pitch. What are you doing? Kai's definitely not been the worst player. It's madness from our club that Kai Havertz is probably, excluding Saka, our second highest goal scorer over these last couple of years, especially when he went up front. And that's shouldn't have bought him. It didn't work in midfield, all of that kind of stuff, right? He's given me a lot more than other people. William was 100% worse. Yes, he was free. He was on big wages, and you had to rip up that deal. Pablo Mari was fucking shit. Runnelson's probably the worst goalie I've seen in my 30 years in this supporting this football club. They were shit. Sterling, the bar was on the floor, and somehow we've been disappointed even more. The less said on Cedric Suarez, the better. Who else is there? Fabio Vieira, we got no change out of that. The Congo, it didn't bang. Nuno Tavares, woeful. Do I think these men are worse than Kai Havertz? No, I don't. So I'm not going to do that just because I don't like Kai. I would not have bought Kai. I don't think Kai should have been bought. I'm not going to create a pylon. Some of that. But yeah, man. Man said take it easy, but at the same time, they're going to stress about the fixture list. And even that, some of our fans, last summer, what were they saying? This guy Havertz, and what were they saying last summer? Oh my God, don't sign a striker. Some were saying this. You got to, like, it's a judge-free zone. If we sign a striker, where's Kai going to play? So if you've gone from not being rated, slagged off, no one rates your thing, so some of your fans are saying that you can't be the worst. There's been something else though. Havertz versus Solanke. Solanke better than him, bro. I know the statistics and all of that crap, but Solanke better than him. Up front, Solanke's better than him. I hear you with the pound for pound thing, but to be fair, I'm just saying, when you put them all on the pitch, I don't think Kai was the worst. Kai can't, Kai didn't pick his transfer fee. Kai didn't say sign him. Kai didn't put a gun to no one's head. It's an L. Kai's giving me a lot more than other dons, bro. And I don't ever think that I'm here backing. Obviously, I defend anyone at the football club. I give you your praise and critiques. Don't mistake me for one of them acting like Kai's amazing. Just being honest, bro. Don't think he's the worst guy I've seen in Arteta's thing. And even that, we knew we got zanged. We knew we zanged ourselves. We knew the 65 million was a draw out. Chelsea couldn't believe their luck. Oh my God, you're going to give us 65 million, meaning we're only losing 5 million off him. And he scored the goal that won us the champs. We'll call that 5 million. We'll say that 5 million won us the champs. Say idiot thing. Shouldn't have bought him. Nah, he should be criticized for his price tag. But no, who rated Kai? Let's be honest, bro. Who rated him? I'm not defending him, I'm just being honest. Who rated him, bro? Who rated Kai? We all knew it was an L. We couldn't believe it was linked with Kai Havertz. We couldn't believe it was 65 million. Nobody rated him. No one. And to be fair with you, whether I rate Kai or not, no one's really talking about the price tag. And this is why we're not going to win a league with this current state. Because if I feel Kai Havertz is one of our top goal scorers, one of our more reliable goal scorers, based on the evidence and what he's done, and I'm not saying I agree with that. Clearly, we've all seen him fall over his feet and that. We shagged ourselves. The club shagged, we didn't. The club shagged themselves. If anybody connected to Arsenal, like Arteta, all the man there, if they have a problem with Kai Havertz, you done that yourself. If it's a graphic example, but if I go onto a motorway right now and run in the middle of the road and a car licks me down, that's my fault. No one told me to do that. Unfortunately, with Kai, you're a jack of all trades, master of none. I'm saying this as some armchair pundit. I'm saying this, but whether I rate Kai or not, bro, Germany always playing you. You did get the move to Chelsea. Whether I think Arteta is the guy or not, you are playing for Arsenal Football Club on a consistent basis. There's got to be something to you. We shouldn't have bought him. Kai's a man where if the man costs 20 million, cool, we shouldn't have bought him. But despite all of that, I can't sit here and tell you I think Kai Havertz is the worst signing I've seen, or the worst signing under Mikel Arteta. 65 million, it's a disappointment, but it's not a disappointment to me because we all knew from the jump, shouldn't have spent that, shouldn't have got him full stop. No one was saying get Kai Havertz. I remember that summer vividly. We were cool with Raya. We were thinking, you know what, at the time Ramsdale stock was high, doing the Raya thing, fair enough. Some were actually believing what Arteta was saying. I was gassing up Timber from the jump because we got Declan Rice the same summer. I said that is our sign in the summer. Obviously, with what Declan Rice is and whatnot, cool, we brought that in. No one was saying bring Kai. And even with the Kai Havertz thing, yeah, the new one that's being pushed out now, obviously, I'm not saying these things are wrong, but I do think with Arsenal fans, especially the ones that have voices, if you say enough things enough times, it starts to sound rational, right? Like the whole July accounting stuff with Zubamendi, which might be true, but the more you say it, that you start to kind of calm down about the summer thing, right? If that makes sense. The new one we're seeing is, and we've seen it with some of the more credible journalists, is it's the majority of their targets are on holiday. Nobody wants to pay them. You don't want to pay someone 200 odd grand a week, yada when they're on holiday. And I can agree with it in premise. It makes sense. But then flip the script. Were we not gate crashing people's weddings last summer or the summer before? You don't know what I'm talking about. I can't remember whose wedding, but was we not? You all saw the footage remember when Arsenal get that little box with the shirt and they were doing that. That was off season when people were getting married. Timber is still the best signing, and it's been 2 seasons. Arteta looks at every single component of a player except output. Just trying to be too smart sometimes, man. Like I think as a club, we need to stop reinventing the wheel. Okay, I know in the modern day, a striker needs to drop deep, work the channels. They're not just going to stand in the box and score goals. Everybody that watches football understands that. But as much as the things developed, yeah, we still need a striker that scores goals. Do all that other stuff, goals. The hardest thing to do in football is score goals. As great as football is a very complicated game, that different managers do different tactics. There's many nuances, many different contexts in that. It's a simple game to a degree. Got to keep balls at the back of your net, put balls in your opponents. We can somewhat keep them out of our net. There are more reliable players, the defensive unit, 9 times out of 10. We're not scoring enough. And it sounds mad saying that because people can sit here and tell me, oh my God, we got 100 goals, all of that stuff. You lot have been telling me that for 3 years. And I know that. And that tells me we've got a good base. But once again, when push comes to shove, what is going on? You can tell me we spread the goals around, and it's right. We do that. You don't just want one man scoring, but when you break it down in the last 2 years, 3 if you include Bukayo, because Havertz wasn't here, it's him and Bukayo Saka. So that's damning on the club. Until we stop trying to reinvent the wheel to a degree, we're not going to get to where we need to, man. Arteta thought he was getting a young Xhaka in Havertz. It's horrible, bro. Should Havertz start for Germany? They'll take that up with the German FA, bro, or the German Dons. I don't know, but I can think Havertz ain't good and all of that. And I can, like, my opinion and you lot's opinions, all that matters. We don't necessarily care what the footballing world has to say, but you're playing for Arsenal, you've played for Chelsea. You don't stop getting called up by Germany. Berbatov, again, Berbatov is a professional footballer and he was one of the waviest in modern eras. Who am I to say anything to Berbatov? But I mean, Berbatov sit here and tell me Kai Havertz reminds me of me. I'm looking at Berbatov like, you're either mad, you might be his agent, but if these lot are saying this and I still maintain my opinion, what leg have I got to stand on? But yeah, it's been a good talking point. Fundamentally, I don't think Kai's the worst player that I've seen Arteta sign. Again, 65 minutes, you know what? I've been on a tangent. Those of you who get it. You do need to spread the goals around. And I get it, bro. Like, we score from set pieces. Over the last 3 years, Saka's got some goals. Havertz has got some goals. Marino, towards the back end of this season, started getting goals. You know, Martinelli 2 years ago was getting them. Trossard's been assist king and then been a more reliable goal scorer. You know, we do the defenders chip in, and that's great. But one, I've said it there essentially, in it. There's been a lot of fair weather players over the last 3 years. Saka's the only one with 3 years, 3 different contexts, all of that stuff. At one within these 3 years, we've seen Zinchenko and Jesus be 2 of the first names on the team sheet, and then people want them gone. So we've evolved. Fundamentally, Saka's the only one that's done it. So that tells me when push comes to shove, and those 5-6 games that when you look, you might not recognize it at the time, but when you go back in hindsight and oh yeah, no, maybe that's where we lost the league or this contributed it. Push comes to shoves, we don't get the goals. Man can tell me he was one of the greatest goal scorers in the Champions League and all of these kind of things. Unfortunately, when push comes to shove, we never had that goal scorer. So when the 1-2 of the goal scorers in our team are not doing the business, we're in issues. So yeah, mum, it is what it is, mum. Gabriel gonna get 5+ goals. You know what, Gabriel Magalhaes, you know you're gonna be in my FPL team, and that's it as well. You are right. Company's a liar, man. Company definitely got paid from that Lokongas thing. Definitely got paid from it. Definitely, 100%. Balls in your opponent's net. Yeah, you do, bro. You lot that do this pause thing for everything. Get your minds out the gutter, man. We're talking about football, like, and again, even if we want to take it there, yeah. If you want to take it there and start doing this pause thing, I will do the suicide bomber thing because you're not taking me down without a fight. Everyone's coming, everybody's going, yeah. Since you want to do that, you can't sit here and do wise. You're talking like we all love Arsenal Football Club, right? We all love it. We all talk about football day in, day out. What are you watching? You're following 11 man for a year. Good, bad, and the ugly. You're following a sport that 22 men are running up and down. So if you're going to do the pause thing, you have to pause yourself then. Press resistant, mate. Busquets, mate. Like, fam. DG, just hear me out. Kai is our highest paid player and came in with a big price tag. You can't tell me it's all on the club when he looks disabled on the pitch but gets a couple goals. Bit harsh to call him disabled. Let's stay away from that. It is all on the club for me. Of course, Kai has to be praised or have criticism wherever. But again, everything we're saying about Kai Havertz, we saw that at Chelsea. Everybody knew that. Everyone didn't. Therefore, weren't talking about him in midfield. Failed upwards with up front because shouldn't have bought the man in the first place. We all knew what Kai Havertz was. Of course, it's the club. No one told you to buy that. You could see it isn't going to bang. It was unnecessary. It was never going to bang. That's the club's fault. If we're relying on Kai Havertz, if there's must-win games and we are relying on Kai Havertz, who's falling over, does score goals, but when push comes to shove, he's falling on the floor. That is our fault. That is genuinely our fault. No one told us to do that. There are just some things you know are not going to bang. So, yeah, it's them. I've got a lot more time for Kai than the club because you shouldn't have been brought it. DG spitting with the Kai take. You actually have nuance in what you're saying because factually Havertz hasn't been the worst signing. He's also not a good signing. We could have done better. It is what it is with Kai, man. And it's boy, can't flog him. Imagine you're a plumber, you get called for a job. The client then insists on telling you how to do your job, then threatens to fire you if it doesn't work. Arteta should do what he sees fit. He should, but again, you're going to be praised and critiqued. You don't get things over the line. Questions have to be asked, bro. I'm not going to lie. Kai, it's a squad player thing. I don't want to rely on you. And big up you for not last season, the year before that, the run towards the end. But this is what if Kai has been one of our more consistent attackers, then want some dickhead thing. And we don't have a position with Kai because he's not the long-term heir up front. You definitely don't want to see him in midfield. It sounds mad, and this is where my issues and why I kind of checked out because I think his best strengths are without a ball, which we play football, aren't we? But you ain't gonna ruin my Sunday speaking about Kai, though, man. Some said take it easy. The window ends in September. That's crazy. Have you seen our early fixtures? Let's get new signings in for preseason and then be ready from day one. Partey will join Fenerbahce, but are you gonna get the P's there that you will get hit? Pardon me, because Partey, like, I'm not, listen, there's plenty of reasons to join Atletico Madrid if rumors are true. Barcelona, the same, if true. Juventus, the same, if true. You're not going to, there's reasons, but it can't be financially because whatever Arsenal have on the table for you, whether it's a small increase or a decrease or your wages stay the same, you might be able to caveat that with you might get a longer deal at these clubs. But in terms of finances, you're not going to, I might be wrong. Your agent might play a blinder, but maybe I'm naive, people. whatever Arsenal's going to offer you, if money is your thing, which Partey said, if money is the thing you want, you're not going to get more wages at them other clubs. Your best bet is Saudi. Do you want to go Saudi? I don't know. I don't know. Man said Havertz is a good player besides playing football, DG. Do you agree? That was funny. I have not, bro. Nobody could tell me if I've forgotten about Kai Havertz. That I have not forgotten about him in midfield. Respectfully, if everybody's actually listening to what I am saying, you would know I've covered that. I literally said we failed upwards with that. It shouldn't have brought him in. Midfield stunk. Went up front. Made it happen. Still not buying a striker. Still fucking about as a club. Issues. Partey will hate at Fenerbahce. Will get huge abuse. Playing in Turkey could be wavy. Transfer window is 0 out of 10 so far. Hey, Kai Havertz is actually good. You're all right, man. Gyokeres has earned a chance. Gyokeres, 27 years, almost 100 goals in the last 2 years, begging to take us back to the heavens of football is a no-brainer. Go back for Sesko in a few years once he's proven. Might be too late. When Chelsea had Havertz up front, they were desperate for a striker, gone full circle. It's dark, bro. Jack of all trades, master of none, fam. Nah. But he's probably the best sort of player, man. Arteta probably gets wet dreams, you know. He can play there, do this, and do that in the third. But my thing, just make sure it works, innit? Just make sure it works. Just make sure it works. Whatever your plans are, what you're doing in the summer, whether we're going to have the greatest summer, sign all the people who are linked in the tabloids, or you're going to sign young players, I can have my opinions. But you need to make sure we win something in the summer. I mean, next season in May. We need a parade. That's it. Just do what you need to do, bro. Yeah, Disabled's mad, bro. Come on, man. I can't believe it's TG saying, man, not saying pause too much. Of course. But you had me. But that's why I'm Busquets. I thought, listen, we've all got, listen, it's a game of chess. Someone said pause or why. I thought, why? Like, bro, you can't do the pause thing in football. Football season's done. We're talking about what man we're going to sign for this team. We're doing formations about man. Some of you overly love Arteta. Some of you overly hate him and want him sacked. You say it every day. About man. You're watching 11 man. You're talking about a squad to have more man. You're talking about Berta to bring in more man. You love a sport where there's 22 man and man on the side. And man are gassing up set piece coach. You're asking man to sign new deals. Don't hate the player, hate the game, bruh. Shit. I might just be the black YouTube Jose Mourinho, you know. It's all entertainment, man. It's all entertainment, man. It's all entertainment. Greatest summer. We signed another Sociedad player. We're not serious. We need to replace Partey long term, but right now we have too much to do to get the right guy. Partey, when we signed, it was probably a 70 million player. Boy, then release clauses can be a word insert here in Spain, I guess, unless it's something astronomical. Like realistically, Nico Williams should be making Bilbao, you know, academy prospect making you about 50 odd million quid. It's good, but in this day and age, whether you rate Nico Williams or not, where you're seeing some of the fees, yeah, for half of these players. If you're Bilbao, you probably need to be getting 70. You want to be getting 70 plus million, maybe even 100, whether he's worth it or not. This is the market now, and it's what you can negotiate. Players' valuations and actual worth and fees is gone through the roof, man. Who is the player with the highest ceiling? Sorry, who was the player with the highest ceiling who was not able to reach their potential for one reason or another in the world and at Arsenal? There's a few, man. There's a few. I'll take you lot with a left field question, and I don't necessarily answer. For me, I'd say Nasri, and that's going to shock a lot of you. Very good player, but I genuinely think Nasri didn't scratch the surface with his potential, man. I think if he truly wanted it, he could have been like one of the greatest. Obviously, I say the word greatest subjectively, but like Nasri could have really been some. Diaby as well. It's a shout. Oh shit, yeah, Wilshere. But that's why I said I wanted to go left, because you can do that. It's kind of easy to pick them with the injury. Smith Rowe, true. Diaby, yeah, Diaby probably is, man. Keep Kai in the 10. That's crazy. I mean, keep Kai in the 10. Yeah, that's crazy. But the wickedest thing is, my hot take is, I think you're going to, I've been saying this for a few weeks now. My hot take of the season already is you're going to see a lot of Kai Havertz in midfield. Do not shoot me. I'm not saying I want it. I just think we're going to see that. Salalem. I never got the hype with Gideon, though. I'll be real. Miyachi industry plant, and no one saw him kick ball. Couple players we signed in the Emirates era, I've never seen him. No one ever saw him kick ball. Pato, Boyan, Isco. So a lot of them wasn't strong enough, man. And there's always times I can clock when Wenger didn't rate a player, man. I knew Dan Crowley unfortunately wasn't gonna make it here, and Zelalem, based on how Wenger was talking about them during pre-season, Gnabry as well. But Gnabry's a bit different. The way Zelalem was rated out of this world on FM14 at the time, bro. I thought he's going to be world class. Diaby uninjured would have made Yaya Toure look average. Ooh, don't know about that because Yaya Toure is a big dog, but he would have been cold, really cold. He was a good player, man. Shout out to him for badding up Joey Barton, that punk. Bro, Adam Wharton would be lit, but like, it's big. But I would take Adam Wharton at Arsenal 100%. But these are the man you got to get them when they're at Blackburn, or be prepared to pay something dark. And if you're Palace, you probably resign to the fact that Eze's probably cutting. Eze's probably leaving. He could probably sell him. That's 2. You need to bring in players because you got more games now because you're going to be in Europe. There might even be interest in Mateta. You probably want to hold on to Adam Wharton for a year or 2 at the very least. A lot of chopping and changing, in my opinion. Ozil, my favorite player in the Emirates era, alongside Cesc. In purely footballing terms, he's up there for me. But I can't lie, man. A couple of the players I've seen in the last 3 years, I think they're there. No order, but then I'm just going to be around the attackers, man. But like, no order. I'm just going to say random names, man. Like, see if I can catch everybody. Cesc Fabregas, Santi Cazorla, Samir Nasri, Arshavin, Alexis Sanchez, Saliba, Saka, Gabriel Magalhaes immediately, Declan Rice immediately. I'm not going to lie, Odegaard, I like him, but you need to pattern up. I'm trying to think. Sagna, Monreal, not in the same tiers, but he was a calm, reliable guy, Monreal. Don't shoot me, Giroud, Naturally, the Adebayors, the Van Persies. It's going to sound mad, but Aaron Ramsdale and David Raya, for all the criticisms I can have of you, yeah. Shout out Emi Martinez for his little run in the team before he left. 2 of the best keepers I've seen during the Emirates era, man. Like, some Arsenal fans have gaslighted me sometimes, man. They tried to gaslight me to rate Pablo Mari. I'll never forgive Arsenal fans who tried to make me rate Ospina. There's no way I can rate Ospina, bro. Alexis beating Messi to 2 Copa Americas, chipping the winning penalty Pirlo style. I loved Alexis. Hottest loves have the coldest ends, man. It's true. I want that Gyokeres deal done already. Berta is dilly-dallying. This thing hasn't done anything good for us. Ramsey, big up Ramsey. I wouldn't say he's my favorite. I've got attachment to Ramsey, large him up every time, but yeah, I got a lot of time for Aaron Ramsey, but I wouldn't say I'd like to watch him Ramsey. Like, I was trying to think of the players. In fact, fuck it, Ramsey's there, man. Dash him in there. I don't know if I'm sure I said Santi Cazorla, but Santi. At a point, you know what? Yeah, this is gonna shake some of you, yeah, and it's only because he didn't accept bad up, not because of his ability. Gabriel Paulista, you got sent off against Diego Costa. That's because we used to be soft. We used to get punched up and thumped up. You were the first at that time. You was the only player that I saw that just didn't have it for once. So big up you for that. I have a schizophrenic in my family, but that won't stop me saying Arteta's tactics the last few seasons have been schizophrenic. Ooh, let's stay away from that kind of chat. Come on, guys. Come on. Ramsey, one of our best players. I like him, man. Ramsey was brave, would try back heels and flicks. We need that in our current team. Ramsey destroying Cardiff with his actions. I'm not going to lie. When Alexis Sanchez left Arsenal, I thought he was going to bang for Man United. I thought he was going to bang. In hindsight, though, it felt a bit Fernando Torres-y. And what I mean by that is, I'm sure Fernando Torres left Liverpool to join Chelsea in January. But the first half of that season, if I'm right, he was shit. So in hindsight, that was always going to happen. Alexis Sanchez slyly was stinking up the place before he went to Man United. Arteta thinks he's Pep. He can't because he ain't won stuff. I addressed Josh. I spoke about Timber's injury yesterday. So check out yesterday's video, man. Deluded. I've been told I'm negative due to watching too much YouTube channels by some top gooners. What phase is Arteta in now? Not a clue, man. You'd have to chat to him. Everyone give predictions. What place we finish next season? I'm gonna be humble, doubling down from last season's first champions. I mean, we need to win, man. We need to win. Aubameyang, how could I forget Aubameyang? Aubameyang, definitely there. Definitely there. Almunia. The worst keeper is Runnison. Heleb, oi. This is when we had ballers, man. This is when it was a given. Like it was and then, like I'm only 30, but I've seen us have the 6 foot odd players that were technically gifted, the Patrick Vieira in the early 2000s for me. Obviously, we moved to the Emirates and the climate has changed, but we had technically proficient players. I don't get the same joy watching my team, man. It's like, yeah, it is what it is. It needs to be win now phase. I hope you're wrong, but I share that sentiment that we're going to finish third. Hopefully, some signings coming that can change my thoughts. Garassi will be the next Aubameyang. I hope you're right, but don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, though, man, I don't want to waste you lot Sundays, man. It's always amazing being here with you lot, but I know you lot have better things to do, man. So yeah, make sure you're smashing like buttons, you're subscribing. The transfer bit of this video, I'll cut it up. Timestamps will go in. Make sure you got notification bells on, man, because content and more content. Hope you lot have enjoyed your weekend. Hope you enjoyed being here. And I'll link up with you lot soon, man. But for now, in a bit, people.